You ready, everyone? Go.
Okay.
Okay.
You ready? All right, great. Hi, everybody. My name is Jacqueline. It's good to meet you all. Can you remind me of all your names?
I'm Emma. I'm Ryan.
I'm Trent.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you. So today we're going to be talking about stories and storytelling, and I'm going to invite you to tell your own story. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I think a story is and why I think they're so special. And then Emily is going to tell us a little bit about how we could get started writing with them. So I'm going to talk for a little bit, and then I have some questions that we can kind of play around with. Does that sound okay? Okay.
Yes.
All right, great. So I think that every single person that's ever been on the planet has a really special story to tell. And the funny thing about that is that there are probably thousands of stories about, say, a fish, or hundreds of stories that start with a necklace. There's been thousands and thousands of years about people telling a story about what their family is about or what their home looks like. And I think that my favorite stories always start with some kind of an adventure, right? Something exciting usually starts off. People tell stories about love and friendship and their pets, and they just keep telling them. So my question is that if we've heard so many of these kinds of stories before, why do we have to tell more of them? We've heard lots. And my answer, just for today, is that I think that because every single person has a special story, it means that we've never heard yours before. And we've certainly never heard it in the way that you're going to tell it, with your words and in your world. We've never got that one before, and we need it. Because the thing is that I think that the world and people in it really love stories. And that when someone lets one out, another person wants to tell theirs, and another person wants to tell theirs. And it gets really special, and things grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Another reason why people tell stories is because stories make us really happy. They bring us a lot of joy to hear them, and it could be really cool to see how another person sees a world that you might not have ever gotten to see before. Like I've never been to Japan, but some of my favorite stories are set there, so I feel like I've got to see it in this really special way. And again, when you tell your story, no one's ever heard it the way that you're going to tell it before. And that's because we all see things just a little bit differently. So I want to try a little exercise together. And this might feel a little funny at first, but go with me. So I want you to close your eyes, and I'll do it with you. And I want you to picture an apple on a table. Does everyone have their apple? Yeah? Okay. Raise your hand if your apple was red. My apple was green. Raise your hand if the table you pictured was made of wood. Oh my gosh, all of us. Is the table that you imagined the one right in front of you? Yeah? Trent, where was your table?
I seriously don't know. Just in a random room.
Just a random room?
Yes.
So you like don't have it in your house. It's just when you dream.
Definitely not.
Okay. So the thing is that everybody's seen an apple before, right? And everybody's probably seen a table before, but I guarantee you, no one's ever seen your combination of your apple and your table. These words are words that we've all heard before, but we just don't know what you're seeing until you tell the story about them. And it could be so different every time that we tell it. So we're going to try that exercise again. And now we're like stretching our imagination muscles a little bit and a little bit more. And I'm just going to give you one word. I want you to think about a door, any door, a door you've seen in a dream, a door you've seen in a movie, a door that you wish you'd seen outside. And I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to try to tell me 3 things about your door. All right, do you think you have them? Okay, who wants to go first? I want to hear about your door. All right, Trent, you go first.
Okay. My door, same room. Exact same room. Also, it was made of wood, just like the table. And, gee, I forgot the last one. Yeah, I forgot the last one.
And it's in a room you've never been to before?
Yes, definitely not. Oh, yeah, it was painted.
What color was it painted?
Not sure.
Amazing. All right, Ryan, is that your hand? Tell me about your door.
Yeah. My door was giant and like it was in like a green room, and then the world just went in the door. It was
The whole
weird.
world?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's a magical door. Emma, tell me about your door.
My door was red. It had white like around it and a golden knob.
Ooh. Have you ever seen a kind of door like that before? Like,
Yeah.
have you walked by one? You have? Where'd you see it?
In a TV show.
Amazing. Now, oh, Emily, do you have a door? Do you want to share?
I do. The door that I saw was in my childhood home where my parents lived. My bedroom door. It is brown with silver paneled wood and has a gold knob as well.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Now, I want you all to keep those doors. And I have some gray, spooky, like Scooby-Doo door in my head. So I'm going to do this with you. So I want you to keep those doors in your head. I want you to close your eyes. And now I'm going to ask you a question. What would that door look like when seen through the eyes of a mouse? What happened to your door?
Mine would be like the biggest thing the mouse has ever seen.
Totally. Emma, did your door change? Yeah.
It would be pretty big and it would seem like it would never end.
Totally. How about you, Trent? Did your room change?
Well, my door is, well, the mouse would be inside the room with the table and the apple and the window. There would be a light shining down. It would probably be about, I would say, a wall, an hour vision. That's how big it would be.
Wow.
The door would probably be size of a 3-story building.
I love that. You have a whole world through your door. That's amazing. Now, a lot of good stories begin with opening doors. Sometimes a new person pops in through them. Sometimes a creature comes in. Sometimes it's our best friend here with news just to change the day. I'm not joking. What people don't know about stories is that a lot of people who tell stories and writers tell stories and people who make movies tell stories. And I think that people who really shape history can tell stories, doctors tell stories, right? We all have this need to tell a story about the world that's around us. But usually when a story begins with a door, what people don't realize is it's the door that's right in front of us that starts the whole thing. Because depending on how you look at it, the door that I'm looking at right now could turn into that Scooby-Doo door, right? Because in my imagination, that's what I see and that's what's cool. I never, ever would imagine it that way. And I think when you look at it, you'd see something totally different. So when we tell a story, we really get to show a part of ourselves that maybe other people didn't get to see. So when that happens, and what just happened for all of us right now when we were dreaming about our doors, and we were dreaming about how a whole world could go inside a door, you were feeling something called inspiration. Have you heard that word before? Do you know what that means? Can anyone tell me about what inspiration is or what you think it might be? Trent, is that a smile and a half hand raise?
I've definitely heard it before, but I totally forgot what it means.
Yeah. It's one of those words, definitely. What about you, Emma or Ryan? Have you heard that word before?
I've heard that word, but I haven't heard it.
I know what it means, just I don't know how to word it.
It's definitely a weird one to explain. And I think I have a funny definition of
I'll
it. But
try to word it this now. Let's say this baseball player, right? And
what'd you
there's
say?
a little kid watching him on TV. Now that kid wants to be exactly like him.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's so because you see something and then you think, I could be that. Or what if my world could look like that too? Or like what other magic is all around me that I don't know about? I think that's exactly right. And I think what inspiration is that magical feeling when we look at something like a door and we see a whole world, especially when it happens right around us. That's really cool. Sometimes it happens in like a fairy tale or somewhere far away. And sometimes it happens through a coffee cup. We don't know. But it's that feeling, it's this magical feeling of like, there's a story right there. And I think I want to tell it, or I want to know more about it. So it kind of feels like, and it definitely feels magical hearing about your different doorways, right? But also, I wanted to tell you that the word inspiration, like it comes from this word that it actually means breath. So inspiration feels like magic, but the word itself means breath because I think the person who called it that wanted us to remember that we're like breathing in this magic stuff all of the time. And as long as we're willing to look for it, and as long as we're willing to look around us with that sense of like, I think there's a story there, we get to see it. So let's see. I'm going to tell you a couple of rules about stories. There aren't many, so it's like a 3-part list. But the first rule of a story is that it could begin anywhere. It could begin in the chair that you're sitting on. It could begin in a pirate ship. It could begin 100 years ago. It could begin 1,000 years from now. And it could begin in any place: the ocean, underwater, your kitchen, your couch, the person who lived in your apartment before you when they were sitting in that same spot. Could begin anywhere. But usually a story begins with inspiration. It begins because you say, I have something to tell and I see something really cool and I want to know more about it. So some ideas, right, are like, some ideas could be like, maybe your family cooks a special dinner and you look at that food and you're like, what would this taste like to someone who never tasted it before? Would it be spicy or would it be funny? If you've never seen a mushroom before, do you know how weird a mushroom looks? I think they look super weird. Or maybe you see like your mom is wearing a necklace and you're like, I wonder where that necklace came from. Like, where did the stone in that necklace come from and who found it and who dug it up, right? It's just all around us. And the cool thing is that when you start to tell a story, you definitely don't have to have an answer. You could just have a question. It could just be like, oh wow, I wonder where that comes from. And you get to dream about it. So our first story rule, right, was it could begin in any place, any setting. New York City, the moon, it's up to you. The second rule is that a story can happen anytime. Today, 10 minutes ago, 100 years from now, up to you. And third is that, and this is the last rule that I have anyway, is that anybody, including you, including me, can be the hero of the story. You choose. It's your magic. It's the way you see the world. And it's the person or mouse or dog or friend who you think is a hero that's important when you tell your story. So, in this class together, I promise that I'll tell you everything I can about how the way we look at the world can help inspire us to tell stories, and how I think that they're just all around us waiting to be found. And Emily is going to help us learn the tools to write those down. Because once we figure out that the world is really magic, we want to tell people about it. And there are certain really great tools that we could have that combine that magic with how to write it down and how to share it with another person. Because once you tell it, we want to hear it so much. And I'll just wrap up by saying, I want you to remember this, that all stories are adventures. And this one is going to be your adventure to tell your magic, your heroes, and your imagination. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Emily, who's going to help get us started.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Jacqueline. Wasn't that inspiring? Does that not get you so excited to write? Oh my goodness. So one thing I think we're going to do before we start writing is just talk a little bit about the senses. So we have 5 of them, right? Can you guys name one? Yeah, Ryan? Ryan? See, sight? Yeah. What else do we have? Emma, you go.
Smell.
Smell. Trent, what do we got?
Touch.
Touch. 2 more. Sight, smell, touch. Trent.
Taste.
Taste. And Ryan, what do we got?
And got it.
So sight, smell, taste, touch, and
Here.
oh, here, yes, all together now. So what this essentially is, guys, is a big word called sensory, right? Sensory details. And when you're telling a story, again, there aren't any rules, right? You can have it start anyway, it can be any time, and anybody can be the hero. But one thing you're going to do to really get people hooked into reading what you're writing are really tapping into those sensory details. So when Jacqueline was doing the exercise with you guys about the apple, she asked you, what color was your apple, right? That is sight. And then we had the sight of the mouth, that perception, right? There was sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch, right? So think of these things when you write your story. Another thing that we're going to talk about briefly is characterization. Does anybody have an idea what that might be? Characterization. So when you read a story and you read about a character, does anybody have a favorite character in a book or a story, a movie you can tell me about? Your favorite character.
Oh, favorite character?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's for both the probably the series, and I like the main character.
I love it. Why do you like that character?
It's very detailed.
Okay. Very detailed.
Every little detail, everything you can think of.
Yes. What do they look like?
Well, it's really a drawing, so really everything you think of it drawing. Face, nose, eyebrow, everything you can think of if you think of a person.
Yeah. Emma, Ryan.
I like the same one as Trent. I really like those books.
Why?
I just like them.
Yeah. Do you guys identify with the characters? I mean, you can tell me what they look like.
I like the character from the Main Street series, Flora. I like her because she's always really nice to everybody and she helps them if they have like a problem.
Yes, she's very caring. So that is part of her character, right? And so when you're writing characters in a story, you can be the character, your mom or dad can be the character, a friend can be a character, but you want to write about these characters with qualities, right? So they can be nice, they can be, what's another one? Nice is always a good thing, right? Trent, what do we got?
Creative.
Creative, oh, I love it, yes. Ryan, what do we got?
Funny.
Funny, yes, humor is huge. Trent?
Smart.
Smart, also very value positive. Yeah, for sure. So these are all elements that go into a character. And you guys being able to identify these things is called characterization. So does anybody remember the first thing that we talked about? We talked about 2. I'd share my screen to with this. Let's see. So what are the 5 senses? All right, go ahead. Ryan, sorry.
See,
Mm-hmm.
smell,
Smell,
hear,
hear,
Taste.
taste,
Touch.
touch. Yep. So we have sensory detail and character, right? These are two important ingredients in your story. So, is everybody okay with that? Okay. So one thing that Jacqueline and I think is really great to just inspire and to get your imagination juice flowing is to do something called a free write. What do you guys think that would be? Emma?
you write down like a little story that you just like think what's around you.
Exactly. Think of what's around you, anything that comes to mind. And again, there really are no rules. It doesn't have to necessarily be linear all the time. It can take place anywhere. It can star anyone as the main character. Just remember those sensory details and those characters, if there are any. Okay, do you think that we could try the free write? Your pen and paper? Okay. So your prompt, and it's not really even a prompt, it's more like a word. I would like for you to write a story about home and what that means to you all, right? So the senses and characters. Do you think we can do it? All right. And begin whenever you're ready. There's no right or wrong. And we'll check in at 3:30. 2 more minutes. Okay. All right. How did that go? Any thoughts?
Just finished last second.
You finished it.
Yes.
Mine's kind of short.
That's okay. Emma, what about you? You like
I
it?
finished mine.
Good. Does everybody feel happy and proud? You should. It's your work, right? It's yours and yours alone. So would anyone like to anyone care to share what they wrote? Awesome.
Home is a wonderful place. It is filled with wonders. That is the place I feel most comfortable in. It is one of my favorite places ever. I like my house because it is lots of good and funny memories. That's what home means to me.
Awesome. I love it. Yes. Good. Yeah, Trent.
Mine is long, but I'll do it anyways. Home. It's the word you hear in movies. Home. It's the word you say when you're tired. Home. The word we love. While that's what other people think of, I think it means many things. I think home means family. Mom, dad, brother, sister, etc. A place to rest and a place to eat. Home is a place to have fun and relax. So now while you go on and on in life, remember, home.
So poetic. I love it. Emma, you want to go?
Sure. I was sitting in my room and looking at my wonderful room. It was yellow and it had lots of pictures on the walls. I thought that was a great part of my home. I felt like a home had to be a perfect place for you. It had to be made for you. The way I felt, the way it felt. Anything about it had to be meant for you. So as I sat on my bed, I thought this is a home and it's just right for me.
That is wonderful. I love how you talked about the yellow pictures in your room. Did we all feel like we were there? I know I did. Oh, that's lovely. I did it with you. I'll read what I have if you want. My meaning of home. So I knew I was home when I saw the emerald trees. The dirt path was laid before me as it had been for years, and I could smell the clay that is only found here. My sister then screams from the house, "Where have you been? We've missed you," and runs and gives me a sloppy kiss on the cheek while holding our big, fat, black cat named, who is very snuggly. So that's that's mine. So yay. So what did you guys think of that? Think of this little exercise. Like it? Yeah, Trent?
Comfortable.
Comfortable? Oh, that's so nice to hear. Anything else? Ryan?
I liked it. I really liked it.
Good. All right. So I'm going to turn it back over to Jacqueline for any final thoughts, but you guys have been wonderful students. This is so cool. And writing brings us all together, right? It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful. So take it away, Jacqueline.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Emily. That was amazing. And wow, I loved hearing about everybody's homes today. I think that's incredible. And it just reminded me so much how special it is to get to share a story with each other and get to know what each other's homes look like. Oh my gosh, wonderful. Um, so for today, we'll just wrap up by saying that now that you know that the world is full of magic and stories, they're yours to look at and they're yours to write down. And if we meet again, or if you feel inspired in another place to share a story, I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. And I think that you'll find that there's whatever adventure you go on, it's always great to do it with a story. So thank you so much.
Lovely, everyone. So final thoughts from you all. Would you want to do this again?
Sure.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. Well, thank you all so much for being our students today, and we're very happy. This was wonderful.
And I'm going to go ahead and just stop the recording here.